Wyclef Jean, BKS1 Radio. Let's go.
This is Essence Atkins, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Hi, this is Melba Moore, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
Yo, check it out. What's the deal? This the chef. Giving a big shout out to my peoples. Big KS, you already know what it is. Salute.
What's up? It's your girl Monifa, and I'm hanging with BKS1 Radio.
Hi, I'm Iyanla Van Zandt, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
BKS Radio, baby.
Hey, this is Jasmine Guy for BKS1 Radio.
What's going on? This is Lamont Rooker, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Shout out to BKS1, the best kept damn secret in the business.
Hey, what's up? This is Raven Goodwin from BET's Being Mary Jane, and shout out to BKS1.
Hi, this is Leon. You're watching BKS1 Radio.
BKS1. God bless y'all. Wyclef Jean, BKS1 Radio. Let's go.
This is Essence.
Hello, and welcome to adjusting my mic. Hello and welcome to BKS1 Radio, the Our Show. It is your girl Chanel, and of course, I am here with the wonderful Miss Queen B over here to my left on this hot Tuesday, which last Tuesday we were covered up because it was kind of cool. It was like 50 degrees last week. And now today we are all burning up. I saw so many memes about I have to get my life together because I can't go to hell because it's hot.
You know what? Yeah, no, we can't. I can't either.
No. So we can't. But again, welcome. We are here. It is another Tuesday that we are blessed to be here.
Yes.
It is a blessing to be in the building. It is a blessing to be doing something that we love to do and sharing our voices with you in hopes that we can help heal as a people and have those tough conversations. So in the meantime, like I always do, first and foremost, Miss Queen B, how are you this Tuesday?
I'm blessed, highly favored.
Okay.
You know, all that good stuff. I'm good. I finished my semester today, so I'm happy about that. I've been done. I did my work, but today is officially the last day. Today's officially the last day. Okay. Shout out to my teacher who has not done my grades yet, so got me checking it like it's a bank account. Could you please just finish it?
Could you just get it done?
Can you just get it done? I know it's by Friday, but why do you gotta wait till Friday?
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Got me on pins and needles, but So got my graduation schedule, got everything. So it's official. I got my little box and everything. I'm good. And I signed up for school again. Starts in September.
Yeah. We got to talk about that after the show. Because there were some things I saw, but then there were some things I didn't see, so it was a bit concerning. So we'll talk about that after the show.
That's fine. So honestly, I am grateful. Because as I said, when you got your degree, I'm grateful that God's word never changes. Mm-hmm. It never changes. So if he says that he sees this for you or it's going to happen, regardless of what you do in life, it will happen. Yeah. He's faithful. I am super excited that, how many years later?
It doesn't matter.
20-something years later.
But that
doesn't
I'm able, matter.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
I'm able to do what I needed to do.
It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you do finish.
Yes.
And stay the course and finish.
Grateful for just being an example to my kids, our kids, and the other generations to come. I'm grateful about that. Mm-hmm. And just all that good stuff. So I'm super excited about that. Mm-hmm. I want to go, where the money resides.
Okay.
Where the money resides.
You have to be where the money resides.
I'm gonna go. I'm giving notice. Look, I'm giving notice today.
Okay.
My job need to act right.
Listen.
Okay.
Listen.
Because I'm gonna go where the money resides.
Listen, I understand that. I completely understand that.
Other than that, I'm good. I watched the Mary show last night. The documentary.
I wanted to get into that.
Okay.
So, I definitely wanted to get into that. But before we get into that, I hear what you're saying, and I asked you on a weekly basis. It's not just formality.
Yes.
Unfortunately, fortunately, like a lot of people just think it's a formality. I ask how you're doing,
right?
Because this whole I'm a believer in spirituality. I'm a believer in faith. I'm a believer in God and all those different things. But this whole Mercury retrograde thing, I don't know if that is real, if it's fake. I don't know what it is. But what I can say is it is a very eerie feeling for a lot of people right now. There's a lot of changes. Yeah. There's a lot of just weird and strange feelings. And as I'm saying this, I can recall even on our first show back in the studio like a few weeks ago, me saying the same thing, that I feel like there's just a lot of weird, eerie things that are going on that are completely unexplainable. And I'm gonna be very honest with you, it does not feel good. But it's just a lot. So for me, even from last week to this week, it's just been a lot of eerie things. But you know what I find though? I found just in the course of living life and getting to be this age, when you don't know what to do, don't do anything.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You can't make a lot of strong declarations. I find when things feel eerie like this, making permanent decisions may not be the best thing to do. A lot of times it's best to just you just gotta watch.
I think for me, that's a good example. I think for me, in the space I'm in right now, which I just told you, we just got finished talking about that, it's definitely a transition phase. So, and I'm talking about transition in every area of my life. It's a transition phase. And it is, let's just rewind and just tell the people, it's 6 months left of the new year.
Yes, it is
June. So it's 6 months left of the new year. And I always tell myself, what's the next 6 months going to bring? Yeah. Absolutely don't know. And I'm in the space right now where I think the stillness will allow me to create whatever I want. Yeah. So I am, yes, it's a crazy feeling to be in right now for me. I know for me, because I'm used to shaking and moving. Yeah. And so it's a quiet space for me right now where and when I'm in that time, I listen more. I hear more, I think more. And whatever feelings I have, I sort those out, I sort those out. And I think that everybody should be doing that type of thing. When indifferent, or when you are in an indifferent period, I think you just go quiet. I think you should just go quiet and see what stillness is. Okay. Stillness. I think we learned that. Yeah. We learned that stillness, one, God still speaks. Two, there's a creativity that can come out of you inside of that. So
it's just, honestly,
it don't feel good.
Right. In all transparency for me, it's not feeling like, and this is just a conversation that we really just having on air in front of people right now.
Absolutely.
But for me, it doesn't even feel like a season of stillness. It feels like a season of stifleness. And as I'm looking around and as I am feeling the energy in multiple areas of my life, not only do I not feel like there's any growth, but I feel like I'm moving backwards.
That's the part.
And that
bothers me.
That is bothering me.
That's the part. But it's not. You know what? Is it really moving backwards? Is it really? No. Is it really? You gotta revisit some things. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think that is where the space you're in, where you're like, why is this coming up again? And I just had a conversation with my fiance, and I said this to you. Why? Look, I'm snoring. Why are things coming up? Or why are things bothering me that I thought that I had a handle on?
That you thought
that I thought that I was past.
Yeah.
It's like, why now?
Why?
And I know that I was telling my cousin the other day, I'm the type of person now I've got this degree. I'm always on to the next. Like, what's next? You know?
Right.
I'm always like, what else do I need to do? What else do I need to accomplish? Okay, that's checked off or whatever. But
Right.
I'm always, I can't
because
sit still.
because for us that check is the process of moving forward. That is how we quantify
Yes.
our growth.
Yes.
Is through that. Okay, this was a goal. Okay, I got here with it.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be a significant
Right.
change, but yet a change.
Right.
My problem is I'm not having any change. Not only am I not having any changes, but I'm going back certain steps.
You know,
in
it's crazy
certain
though. You had a
areas.
dynamic 2020.
I had a dynamic 2019 in 2020.
Right.
And
So-
and this year I'm just like,
So I think it just the quiet part just catapults you to the next level. It almost allows you, like, I don't know, create. I mean, stillness bursts something. That's what I think. It bursts something in you. So I think that is, you know, where your baby is, or, you know, and baby in a symbol, almost, you know, a symbol type of way, like not something, you know, not literal. But I think that it does birth you. And that's the part that me growing pains and just going through the motions or feeling some type of way about everything. It's still growth. It just don't look like it.
yeah.
But if you have to revisit,
it.
if you have to revisit some things, that doesn't mean that you're stagnant or you're going backwards. You know, it's kind of like, you look back to see how far you've come.
But
You understand what I'm
right.
saying?
I definitely get that. You definitely have to look back to see how far you've come, but you still have to be in a trajectory to move forward.
I agree.
I feel like you still need to be positioning yourself to move forward.
I agree.
Making decisions that you would not otherwise make, or making decisions that you had to make while you were still back there. You can't make those decisions from that same headspace.
Okay.
You have to make decisions from this headspace
Oh,
forward
absolutely.
in order to keep going forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Mary, I want to get into that because that's kind of
because and you know what, our guest, because we do have a guest tonight, so we it's not just going to be
us
talking.
Absolutely.
But I feel like all of this is relevant to our guest that is going to be coming on the show tonight. But I just needed to be transparent with how I've been feeling personally, because again, our guest that's coming on is a author, speaker, and producer by the name of Denise Carson, who wrote a book entitled "Stranded Between Doubt and Faith."
That. Love it.
And I feel like that is very important with how me personally, how I am feeling and what we have discussed, and I've and what I feel like a lot of people are feeling this evening. So anyway, enough of us, enough about us. But go ahead. So we were talking about, because I did text you to make sure. Didn't I text you to make sure you watched Mary this week? Yeah. To make sure you watched.
That's why I knew that it was on Prime.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Mary J. Blige documentary on Prime. Go ahead and
So yesterday I was watching it, and I love to see, it makes me almost like, first of all, I had mixed emotions about it all. I'm going to be honest. I had mixed emotions about it all, because she really came, you know how like when you get it out the mud, like she did, and went through a lot of the things that she did. She didn't know how much of a superstar she would be.
Yeah.
She didn't have a lot of strength in a lot of areas. She didn't, she doubted herself a lot. It was a real story.
It was.
It was
It still
authentic. It was, yes.
It still is.
It was authentic to a woman, any woman that actually fought to become anything. I don't care what it is.
And so many people don't realize, and I can't speak for, my Caucasian sisters. I can speak for a lot of my black and brown sisters. When we have accomplished anything in life, no matter how big or small it may seem to anyone else, no matter how big or small it may seem to the opposite sex, whatever it is that we accomplish, trust and know it was a fight.
Yes.
Trust and know there was self-doubt.
Yes.
There was low self-esteem. There was people saying that you couldn't do it.
Absolutely.
There was people saying you shouldn't do it. There was people saying that you can't do it. There was fear. There was, and I don't care how big or small. Do you know how many people talked about us just being on this radio station?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you know how many people we know personally that talked about us just being on this radio station?
I can go beyond that for myself.
And I'm not saying we ain't on Mary J. Blige level.
No.
But just the smallest thing.
The smallest thing. For me, I will tell you this, and you know we are transparent. I say this every show. We are transparent about our lives. We are transparent about the things that we go through, and that is because it's each one teach one. We believe in that, and we know that if we are more transparent, we have really done away with the myth that we got to appear strong at all times.
Right.
That is not what we want to do. We want to reach somebody by saying, girl, I feel you.
Right.
But I will tell you that the reason why the drive was for me was the people that told me I'm an adopted kid or I'm a foster kid. They ain't even say adopted, but I'm a foster kid. Like I'm not supposed to be here. The people who said I think I'm better. The people that told me that I would never make it without them. The people that told me, I made you. Almost like Jay-Z, make another one since you made me. Those people, no, seriously, like they they literally planted a seed from me because every time I go to accomplish something, they don't understand that I put them in the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
I put them in the forefront of my mind, and my answer to them is the way I live.
Yeah.
I agree with you when you say that nothing ever, for me, I know that nothing came easy. I know that nothing. I don't know what the preconceived thing is about me and you or whatever.
Well, I know what the preconceived notion is about me. I mean, because I've heard it, all my life. With me being what am I? I'm just so bougie. I'm stuck up. I'm suchy much. Bishop Jakes uses suchy much. That's why I like using that. I'm just Miss Suchy Much. I think I'm this. I think I'm that. So, I don't go walk around telling my entire life story
you can't.
To everybody. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
But if you got to know me,
I mean,
I think you think differently of me. It's funny when I run into people and they're like, yo, you so cool. And it was like, well, I always was like this. Like, you're so funny. I was always like this.
Right.
I've not changed. You just didn't get to know me. You judged me based on what I look like, how I present or whatever. Who's on Facebook presenting their bad moments?
I don't know.
Who?
Give me one. Besides the people that be on there crying.
Who?
Like, that's what's that. I don't know. Besides the people that's on there crying, I couldn't tell you. To be honest with you,
or in the hospital with
right.
IVs and stuff.
You know what?
Hospital gowns and stuff.
You know what?
I don't like that. But
no,
anyway,
no.
No, I am not. It's funny you say that. Totally gave me a lot of drive. What somebody told me that I couldn't do or couldn't be, that is when I lived to prove them wrong.
Yeah, I didn't even live to prove people wrong. I
you really
lived
didn't have
to no, I lived to, because there was a lot of naysayers and people that and even those that meant well.
Right.
That or thought they meant well, that told me what I should and should not do and how to be more successful. And, even when we do our mentoring group, Queen Code, which we're going to have some meetings about to get that back up and running as the world is opening up. But when we have the bandwidth.
Absolutely.
But I tell the story all the time about me going off to college, being a teenage mother, and how There were some people that told me that the major that I wanted to major in wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough because it wasn't going to do enough. So you need to major in this. And then I did turn around and major in this and struggled in it for damn near 20 years because it wasn't me. And then I had to go back to being myself in order to complete what I wanted to complete. You know what I mean? And so it's like
they killed a lot of people, didn't they?
They killed a lot of dreams. They killed a lot of dreams. And it's like I feel like I don't, everybody don't know that story. Everybody don't know that story just because I don't look like what I've been through. You know what I mean? And I thank God for that. You know what I mean? That's grace.
Absolutely.
That is grace.
Yes.
That is nothing but sheer grace right there. But I could tell you some stories.
Yeah, me too. Wow.
I could tell you some stories.
I could tell you some.
It's just it's just a lot. But trust and believe with the Mary story that everything she's been through, like you said, it is a real story of triumph and continuous work. Because you notice how even when people come up to her and say, "You saved my life," how uncomfortable she still is.
Yeah.
And did you notice that?
Because she doesn't want to be that.
She doesn't want to be. She is still very much, to this day, very uncomfortable. Well, I saw in that documentary on
the girl who came up.
There was that was one, but there was another one when she was taking pictures with that had came up to her before that when they were standing in front of the background.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my God, I love you so much, my da, 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 da." And she was like, "Oh, okay, thank you. All right, cheese." And they took the picture and that was it. Then you had the other one that was
the other one went deep.
Yeah, she went deep. She was like, "You saved my life. I was about to jump. I was about to do this, that, and the other, da, 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 da. And I thought about you. I thought about some of your words." And she was like, "Wow." And then she was like, "Okay, cheese, bing, bye." Like, you know what I mean? I know she feels it, and I know she internalizes it, and I know she's grateful for it. But to this day, she is still
humble,
very uncomfortable with who and what she is. Still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Like I said, it is very much a story of trial, tragedy, and triumph.
She had me thinking because I think one of the parts that set out to me too, and we've done this in relationships and not know who we are. And we put anything in our lives, when we don't know who we are.
Yeah, buddy.
I read a thing the other day that says we attract whatever we're going through. We actually attract whatever it is, that we're going through. And I just remember doing that.
Yeah.
I remember being with people and I couldn't understand. After like 6 months or a year of being with the people, I turn around and I'm looking and I'm like, why was I with them again?
Right.
But because it was something that I need to either nurture in them that I felt like I could, save or do.
Yeah.
Or it was some inadequacy in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I saw that in her. I saw that in Mary. I saw that. Yeah, I definitely saw that in Mary. And her story is beyond amazing.
Yeah.
Beyond amazing.
I feel like we need to have more conversations like that. Maybe that's the kind of event we should be having over this summer.
Yeah.
Like that kind of women's gathering. Like
Yes, absolutely.
I think we need to put that together.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Look out for that. You see how we just came up with it?
I think that would be great.
We just came up with an hour show event.
No.
Live on air.
Because even coming out of the pandemic, we still have
so many people have.
Oh God, yeah. We still have things that are bottled up that we haven't talked about, or that some people have addressed. But then again, we are talking about the revisiting thing, where some people have to revisit certain things because they've attached themselves to whatever. So I think freedom, free. I think being free, and for us to, we definitely need to delve into all of that. Yeah. But watch that, guys. We don't get anything for saying watch it, but we definitely are saying watch it because I won't even restrict it to women. I'm not even going to restrict it to women. I'll say women, men. Everyone will get something out of watching that story.
Definitely. I believe that. I definitely believe that.
We'll get something out of watching the story. I love her sister. Her sister is about it. I love her.
Yeah.
I love the conversation she had with her family in the house. I love the pictures that they showed
Yeah.
of her back in the day. Misa, I had the pleasure of meeting Misa at an event in New York, and
I met her.
I didn't know, honestly, until the documentary came out. With be with Urban World in September.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that she put a dent in with MCM and all of those other stuff. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I watched the documentary, and I was like, "Oh,
oh no!" I had the pleasure of meeting her during Fashion Week in New York. Whose show was it? I don't know, but I got the pleasure of sitting next to June Ambrose with her lovely, amazing spirit. But yeah, I got I had the pleasure of sitting with June Ambrose, and then afterwards meeting Misha. So just their energy and spirit.
So my
is
friend
everything.
Stephanie also worked with Misa. She worked under her because she's a stylist.
Yeah.
Actually, she knows your person, your PR person, your whatever person. And she worked under her. She taught her pretty much everything. And I never put two in there. Oh, I work for Misa, this, that, and the other, until I sat there and was like, with Dapper Dan. I don't know did you see that documentary? Okay,
no, but
you didn't. Oh my God, you got to see it. I think it was on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. So just amazing, and put a dent in that whole era of the 90s and 2000s, and still like all of the things that Mary had and put together, and just all of them. First of all, Bad Boy, just in general,
that whole thing. Yep.
Because she's the baby daddy. I mean, she's the baby mom of P. Diddy.
Yep.
But she went and made her own lane.
Yep.
And in the documentary, I will tell you, remember how we just said people, our brown black women, they get it out the mud. She got it out the mud.
Yeah.
At one point, she was homeless. And she got it out the mud with her son. And she tells the story. And I'm telling you, like, just an amazing soul.
Listen, all right, we have to get into our guests. We are definitely going to come back and talk about this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce our guest. So let me go ahead and bring her on. So our guest for this evening entitles herself the Purposenaire. Am I saying that correctly? I'm not even sure if I'm saying that correctly. But her name is Miss Denise Carson. She is an author, speaker, and producer in the entertainment industry who recently wrote a book, Stranded Between Doubt and Faith, which is a book of life questions to help determine what to do when you don't know what to do.
Come on, somebody.
You know what?
Come on.
You know what? If I start
Come
shouting
on,
in here today, yes. And so she's known for her Shade Room appearance from 2018 when she did an inspirational video. So I just want to go ahead and get into it. Was there something we need to do? Okay. I just want to go ahead and get into it. Everybody, please help us welcome to the Our Show and BKS1 Radio, Denise Carson, everybody.
Yes.
Hello. How are you?
It is a pleasure for you to grace our presence.
It's a pleasure. I feel your energy through the phone now. Let him use you.
It is a complete pleasure to just for you to grace our presence and for you to be an example, and just what you're doing is amazing. So I want you to delve into that.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what it is you do, and then we want to go into that book, because just the title alone is everything for me.
All right. Well, if I am Denise Carson, the Purposenaire. I chase purpose and not paper, which is basically my goal is to help people get back to the intention of why they was born in the first place. And if you get back to the intention of why you was born in the first place, you'll realize that you have dominion over a tree, aka money. So as many times that people have been controlled by their shadows when you have dark thinking, just because you don't know that your light has everything that you need. So I wake up every single day. I look for somebody to help them get back to the intention of themselves, and I go back to sleep. So the same way people chase millions, I chase purpose, and I chase other people to find their purpose. So because you have everything inside of you to get rid of all the hell you are going through.
Okay. And that is our show for tonight, everyone. If you missed it, I feel bad for you because everything that was just said.
Oh my God.
Wait, because I feel like you just laid $10 billion bucks
Yes.
on us
Yes.
right now, and I'm still trying to count the money.
You know how the rappers say bars? Like that's how I feel right now.
All right, so run it back.
So then let me tell you, next time you look at a tree, say I got dominion over that tree. You have power over a tree. So you should never chase money. You should always chase paper, because when he placed you on earth, the intention he placed you with has enough money to make anything in the world. So I tell people, chase purpose, chase your intention. Your intention is a billionaire. Okay. Your purpose creates money. Your purpose is desire. So if you do what you like to do for free, eventually you won't be doing it for free no more. I promise you.
I don't.
Where's the time?
Do we have a plate?
We don't have like a plate.
We have a plate to just pass
like,
for
just put it
down
there.
You know what? Because I'm just. I don't even know where to go with this right now. I don't even. You got a question or something?
I don't even know where to begin.
Listen.
How do you get someone to actually define their intent? How do you make them, then I guess, just how?
Shadow work. I teach people how to control their shadow. So the same way that negative thought came up for years and told you that you are not good enough is the same way a positive thought can come up and tell you you're more than enough. But sometimes many people go through more traumas than others. So while you are confronting your shadow, you have to deal with some real things. You have to go back to that inner child who didn't feel good enough in the first place, because when God made you and he intended for you, the inner child who was happy and lovely and that was his intention for you. He wanted that little child to grow up. But instead, we went through pain, we went through heartbreak, we went through turmoil, we went through trauma, and we went through everything that we allowed the very thing that he placed to protect us to control us, aka our shadow. So many people are controlled by a shadow when the shadow was meant to protect the light. So you are a walking light source with free protection, but we decided to be controlled by the protection. So I teach people, hey, you was born with a dark side. It is your job to conquer your dark sides in order to become powerful. But you was born with two sides. So if you snap, that makes you human. That's okay. But your light is more powerful than your snap. So I'm teaching people how to live in light unapologetically, because I was controlled by my shadow for years. So now that I know how my light look, I'm unapologetically living in it, because I know how to unapologetically get the shadow results and the shadow consequences and the shadow bad mistakes and the shadows you ain't good enough and all the things that shadow do to you that make you feel like you're not good enough. I teach people that it's just a thought. A thought is completely 80% of your is an illusion. And human beings, we think 20,000 through 50,000.
I don't want to say breaking point, but what was your for you? Because you said, you started with you first. Of course, we start with us in order for us to reach out and help someone else. What was your, tell me your story and what was your.
Well, my story started off, I tell people my shadow was actually birthed when my grandmother passed, back all the way when I was 19. I didn't realize it. So I began walking in such a dark place that I didn't realize until I'm getting dark results. So mind you, you always have negative thoughts prior to, but it is usually something in individual lives that creates such a shutdown and such a stuck feeling that they don't want to deal with life anymore. Okay. For me, it was the death of my grandmother because I was raised by her. Gotcha. So being raised by my grandmother and somebody snapped their finger and now my world is gone. I have to get new guidance, and the person who I felt loved me for anybody in the world is now other people telling me that I have to change. So the shadow creeped up and started to create a protective mechanism for me that would, be labeled as the problem child or, oh, she's angry. But truth be told, I just had unhealed triggers. And my triggers was birthed from the little girl who didn't feel good enough in the first place. Like, so when my grandmother passed, it just amped it up. I didn't feel like I was worth being loved in the first place because my mom wasn't there. So to be raised by my grandmother, and when she passed and I don't have a mom or dad, my shadow had the power to tell me that I'm unloved. My shadow told me I was a failure. I would never be good enough. I would, and it was some real things that I believed about myself. I believed that I wasn't worthy of being loved due to the fact that my birth mom didn't love me. But that wasn't true. That was shadow talk. My birth mom loves me greatly, so that was really when I really dealt with the death. And then as I went through my 20s, you get tired of going through it. You get to this point where you like, being fed up is enough. After repeating shadow results, I wanted to know what this piece was about, that I watched everybody. I work television. I work with very big names, and the most powerful names walked on set with such a powerful foundation, and their foundation had nothing to do with their money. That foundation was their peace and how it was an aura of elegance. So I decided to ask these very important people the question, what is your secret? And everybody answer was the key to winning is being happy. And the key to staying happy is having the right relationships and achievements. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, I used to call myself the humble hustler because I worked for money. And I was told I was doing it totally wrong. Wow. So once I sat back and stopped working for money and not needed it, I started looking at the person who invented money. I told a $2 bank account that I'm a millionaire. I told my landlord when my rent was late, I said, oh, the money's coming. I said, the money's coming to me. I am. So I had to transform my life, transform my mind. There's 3 steps to transformation. On your mark, get set, go. If you ever watch a racer, on your mark is their first step. They have their head down. That means you have no choice but to trust God and unlearn everything you thought you can do to run this race on your own. Wow. Because even in a racer, when they're on your mark, their mind is probably just like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? God is telling you, hey, give me your brain and trust me to drive. Trust me to run you. Trust me to get you to the finish line, and I promise you'll get there. But you have to unlearn everything that told you that I was against you. I'm your father. I tell people, treat God like a real man. Like if your father don't want you out here homeless, definitely not if he owned a mansion. Let's be real. Yes. If your father's a billionaire, he definitely don't want you working 5 jobs. Let's be real. It's us who does it. Yeah. So after I made God my father and a real person, I started to live like he was real. And I went through my 3 steps of transformation like God was a real father. And as I was unlearning things and things are boiling up that I thought I forgot, I knew this time I wasn't alone. So I tell people, although you walked through the valley of shadow of death, you didn't walk through that valley. He did. If you would have walked through it, you would have died. Yes. But you didn't walk through it. So you don't have to be religious to trust that somebody created you. So once you got the first step out the way, you're unlearning everything that you thought was correct, that you thought I had to work for money. Now you know you got dominion over a tree. Next time you look at a tree, the tree was made for you. You got dominion over a tree.
Now, Denise, you know they gonna think I'm crazy because when I start talking to the trees, okay? I'm about to start talking to the tree.
Talk to the tree.
All right.
Tell the tree who you are. Because the funny thing is, when he placed Adam in the garden, he placed the tree afterwards.
Yes.
And then he told Adam, yo, I placed this tree to bear fruit and provide for you.
That's it.
Your job is to just have dominion over all things, but I placed the tree to do for you. Now, if Adam would have went and worked for the tree, that was his issue. But he placed the tree after the fact. Like, hey, I knew you was going to be needed to be taken care of. I knew you was going to need money. I knew the things that I put inside of you take so much that you're going to have to be provided for. That's why I placed the tree. So he already gave us everything we desire. It's just us who was taught to work. We have to unlearn working and learn trusting. Yeah. And that's what I teach people. You have to unlearn it. And it's from generations. It's unfortunate, but if you don't have any money, you don't feel powerful. That's a lie. Actually, the most powerful people don't have any money. Like they just, half of them live for free. I have experienced it. I just shot a man who gave away $200 billion and he gave 200 people $1 million because he couldn't die with money. And nobody know who he is. You can't Google him. And I tell people that's the type of God you got. He got the type of God that he got somebody sitting there with $1 million check waiting to bless you. All I need for you is to have faith in me. Wow. So that go back to the other steps. First, on your mark. 2 is get set, when you actually have to trust him. Because if you watch a racer, when they look up and on the get set mode, you don't see the finish line. You know the finish line is there, though, because your destination don't change, your route does. So on your mark, when you want to get set mode, you're only here to trust. I can only trust this known source with this unknown gift I have. But I know for sure God your purpose, you won't have to work for the tree.
Absolutely.
I promise you.
Denise, it's not often that we are speechless.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that we have had all kinds of interviews from, like you said, from celebrities of all kinds that have been right here in this studio. Stuff we've done during the pandemic, people we've interviewed from all walks of life. And it is rare that the both of us literally just sit in silence right now. The light that is exuding from you, your walk, your word, the energy, again, like you said, whatever it is you believe in. I'm a firm believer in God, but whatever it is that any of our viewers or followers believe in, clearly they see it through you.
Absolutely.
Clearly they see it through you. And it literally has rendered the both of us speechless. And both of us are believers and followers in the word, and can quote you back the same scripture and all things. And I am literally sitting here as if I have never heard any of this before in my entire life. Being a life coach, preaching love and life and light. I'm literally sitting here like,
be light unapologetically.
I just
brighten others. Life is way more peaceful being light. It's way more peaceful.
It is.
I know who my shadow is. Once I knew who my shadow was, I confronted it. And it's not gone. It's not disappeared. We still have two sides. So be gentle with yourself as you heal. Be gentle. It took me years to even get here, to even have this type of conversation, because I used to beat myself up even throughout healing. You have to learn to be gentle. The same grace God gave you is the same grace we have for ourselves. So forgive yesterday. Our mind is present. He is present. God is present. The only thing that remembers is your brain and your thoughts.
Yes.
Pain comes from a memory. Anger comes from a memory, but God is a present God, and all he thinks about is the future. And if he puts a past memory on top of you, that's for you to heal. That's it.
I always say,
you can move on.
I always
you don't have to stay in that place. You don't have to stay there. If you went through a bad relationship and they did it, once I heal you through it, I'm giving you permission to move on.
Right.
Your brain is present. The only thing that like to stay hurt is us. So I tell people, get over it. And if you get over it, there's so many rewards to it. And I know it's easier to want the hug, because I was that too. Like, I'd rather tell people what I went through versus what I'm going through and what I broke through. And you want somebbut let me tell you, you ain't never alone. You have angels. You have God. Like, I literally know I walk with people. That's why you have the angel numbers coming now, so he can tell you 11, 444, 555, 222. Since you don't believe me, I gave you numbers. So every time you see those numbers, I'm here.
Yeah.
So it's just having that knowing. We have to unlearn being scared of God and make him somebody who is really on our side. Really, really, really on our side. Because that's the truth. He is really on our side.
So your book,
Yes.
Stranded Between Doubt and Faith.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was looking around. I should have one close by, but stranded between doubt and faith. Sorry about that.
We need those. So we are definitely going to be contacting you to purchase those. Amazon. You got the paperback. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Borders, Apple Books, Google Books. I would say anywhere a book is sold, but I don't think that's true. Those are the only platforms I know of at the time. But Amazon is the strongest one. If you put in Stranded Between Doubt and Faith, it pops me up. It has an ebook connected to it, a paperback, and an audio version is coming soon.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
great.
Yeah. But Stranded Between Doubt and Faith, I kind of gave you a little bit about it. When I confronted my shadow, I had to ask myself some very important questions, like, what are your triggers? What are you afraid of? Why are you scared to succeed? What keeps making you act out? And as you read the book, there's 10 chapters of questions you have to ask yourself.
Okay.
And if you can answer these questions, you can make it to the next level. Some people have told me they could present. Like, even if your brain, you're going through 20,000 thoughts, if you start talking, just tell yourself to shut up. Be bipolar. I don't care. I teach people to be bipolar. You bipolar anyway. You got light and dark inside of you anyway. Might as well be bipolar. Tell her to shut up. Literally, hey, bro, Shadow, shut up.
Yeah.
Literally, Shadow, stop playing. Because Shadow's arrogant. Shadow I can literally turn in my Shadow in 2.5 seconds. I do it all the time. Like, hey,
we all can.
Do it.
We all can.
do it.
That's
bro,
easy.
You suck, bro. You suck. Ain't nobody love you. You never gonna be anything. And your mom didn't even love you. So I double dare you to try to get out here and succeed. Like, that's stupid. And you stupid. So here, try. And see how much you need me. You can't survive without me. You are nothing. You're literally, you're not good enough. You never do anything right. And when you do something, you don't fulfill it. So you need me. It's all right. Like, you'll be good. I see you out here trying to be strong. You ain't gonna be nothing without me, though. And Shadow sound just like you. So you don't know the difference between shadow and light. Like, unless you know it's a negative thought. Like, you're like, oh, they sound alike until you recognize shadow as shadow. Wow. And once you can recognize shadow as shadow, that's your power. So I teach people how to recognize their shadow in my book. The questions you have to ask yourself, I teach you how to walk you through that. Like, ask yourself this question, and it will help you get to the place that you're scared to go to. Stranded between doubt and faith. Yes, ma'am. It's literally the truth. Stranded between doubt and faith. It's like somebody begging to be free. What to do when you don't know what to do. It's like, I'm not happy, but I don't know what to do to get happy.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you take clients?
Do I take clients? Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am, I do.
Okay.
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. Because I'm sitting here like, okay, so Tuesday nights I'm here, but Wednesdays, if I'm done.
Let me tell you,
working-
it's hard. That's why it took me a chance to say clients, because I just follow my master teacher. I really believe that if it's meant for me to have the conversation, I don't want to think about a rate or a pay. Like, my money, I've got the million over a tree. I want to be so divine that if the conversation is meant to be had, they're ready to receive the revelation, and let's get to the intention. So I meet strangers daily and probably talk to them 2 to 3 hours if they allow me to. True story. Like, and I'll just tell them about the intention and chasing your purpose and da-da-da-da. Like, so you don't have to call it clients. It's just my first love. I want everybody to feel this feeling of light. You have a light source and you are light. It's 12 disciples. Only Peter was chosen to walk on water. So everybody's not meant to be famous, but everybody's meant to be great.
Right.
He is using you.
Yeah.
He is using
So just because the 12 disciples didn't walk on water, that didn't mean they didn't have purpose. Like, they walked with Jesus too. So I tell people, everybody's trying to be famous. That's not your purpose. Find out what you're good at and watch him manifest it. Some of the wealthiest people we don't know about.
Absolutely.
I promise you that. So that's just my truth. I really do. Like, you can call me, get my number. I pick it up and we'll be on the phone for days. Like, as long as we fight that shadow. We fight that shadow. When the shadow thought creeps up, let's talk about it. Let's see what shadow's talking now. Tell me what shadow said. Let me talk to shadow with my shadow. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because sometimes you have to do that.
My shadow. Shadows only date shadows. Shadows only talk to shadows. Shadows only recognize rooms with shadows. So I tell everybody, if you still getting triggered and your shadow is still coming out, that has nothing to do with the other individual. That's you.
Oh, what? I'm sorry. Say that one more again. Say that one more again.
If you still getting triggered and your shadow is still coming up, that has nothing to do with the other individual. That's you.
It's you.
Shadows and triggers are only here to show you what you haven't healed. I will not get triggered about anything that I have healed. Period. You can't hurt me. I have a peace that's so strong that even the words that used to hurt me don't have any more power.
Absolutely.
So if the words still have a power, I need to go back to the wound and heal that. I don't need to cuss you out. Because the only difference is the person going to change. The wound is going to stay the same.
God is you, girl. Woo, okay. Listen, because I'm all over the place. I'm in my head. I'm trying to be professional right now. I feel like shouting. I want to pass a plate. I mean, can we just go? Should we go to the benediction? Should we have a choir come out and sing? Like, I'm just trying to figure out where we go to. Do we need the offering song?
I just want to say that.
I just pray the Father is heard through the people. Like, get back to the intention. Come back to the kingdom. Let's get out. Let's light these rooms up, man.
Yes.
Let's light these rooms up. If you feel like your light is dim, walk in another room. Everybody's not your audience.
Right.
Period. Our light is not meant to be dim. We just putting ourselves in the wrong room from surviving in comfort zones. But your light is meant to be bright. I put you on earth to be bright. Period.
I think it's important when you said that there are some wounds that you need to go back and heal. It's not the person. You don't have to cuss somebody out, or you don't have to belittle them or make them feel some type of way, because that's your wound.
That's my wound.
That's your wound.
If a trigger come up, that's your wound. It has nothing to do with them.
Right. And I think that's what
happens. A trigger is your wound. A trigger is your wound. A trigger is your wound. It's your wound.
A trigger is your responsibility.
It has nothing to do with what the other person needs to do
that.
For you. But a trigger is your wound.
Yes, I tell people, look at trigger as a Band-Aid. A Band-Aid covers the wound, right? That don't mean the wound healed under the Band-Aid. That just means that it covered the wound. It didn't do anything. So if you still get triggered, it's just like taking off the Band-Aid. If you hit a wound that's sensitive, you gonna say ouch. And if you never healed a wound, it's still very much sensitive. I don't care if it started at 2 years old.
Right.
If you take that Band-Aid off and somebody touch it, you going to say ouch. And some of our ouch sound like roar. And
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
We throwing glasses and stuff. That's some of our triggers, but it's just a wound. You have to go back to that wound. I realized my trigger was, just to be honest with you guys, my mom wasn't in my life. She was in the street. So when people call me a crack baby or say I'm just like my mom, I would snap. Because I'm thinking to myself, my mom was a crack. Like, it's just a terrible joke, people. Even my family, like, they didn't catch it. It was just a cute joke. But I will always snap because the little girl was mad I didn't have my mom. So when people would make a joke about it, I extra snapped, right? I'm like, Urgh. So that when I start to heal, and I realized hearing those certain phrases or hearing those certain words, anytime I heard that word, my shadow would immediately come up. So I couldn't catch it. So I remember speaking up for myself. I remember the person who always made the joke. I said to them, hey, that's a terrible joke. My mom passed from crack, and that hurts. And once I saw the power of my light speak up and saw how it diminished them, and they like, even if they tried to say the joke again, it couldn't come out their mouth. I realized that my light is way more powerful than my shadow, and that my light is heard way different than my shadow. So here it is, my shadow was acting out for years, but all my light had to say was, yo, that hurt. That's not really a good joke. My mom passed from that. And once I saw the benefit of that, it changed my whole horizon. Like, you can't heal a wound peacefully.
Absolutely.
You can't heal a wound peacefully. It don't have to be chaotic. Once you heal, and you have to, because you're going to go back to some rooms. Like some families build shadows. Some families still trigger you. So if you find yourself in rooms that you are still triggered, it's like, okay, let me heal this. But when I'm healed, let me tell you why you triggered me. Because it is some people who is triggering you on purpose.
Right.
So it gave me the right to go back to them and say, hey, that's not acceptable. It's just not. And I'm not going to act out anymore, but I won't be with you.
Right.
Because when you're healed, that acting out is really a product of you not being healed completely.
Yes. When you see somebody act out at like 0 to 100, they have a wound that's deep. Ain't no happy person gonna act out. They're gonna speak up. They're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna have a little communication. It's a little peaceful, so we both gonna say we was hurt. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. It's not too many. It's not triggers' job is to cover the wound.
And no one else is responsible for your healing.
Nobody else is responsible for your healing that trigger but you, because nobody was there when the trigger was birthed. Nobody was there when the wound was birthed. And even the person who possibly caused the wound is no longer here. So it's your job to heal that wound.
I think,
and that's unfortunate for us because some of our wounds happen from other people.
Right.
Some of our wounds happen from family. Some of our wounds happen. That's unfortunate, but you didn't walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So there was no evil to fear. God was always with you. I tell everybody to say that scripture over again and finish it out. Although I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil because he is always with me.
Yeah.
An individual like to stay in evil. I didn't intend that for you. I intended you to keep walking.
Right.
You know, so triggers like to stay, like wounds like to stay safe under triggers because if you're fully healed, you don't have anything, you know, if you didn't have a story, you don't have anything to tell. You don't have anything to feel. You know, so some of us, it makes some people feel important to have triggers. You know, it makes some people feel important to still be a little bit unhealed because it leaves you a tad bit of a victim still.
Right.
And that victim who didn't feel love as a little girl is using victimized mentality to be loved as an adult.
Victimized. Can you explain victimized mentality, please, for the viewers?
The victimized mentality is very close though because I feel like the word victim has been, you know, misused sometimes because I think people have pure intentions.
Mm-hmm.
The victimized mentality comes from it's a still stuck place that you kind of want to get out of, but you can't. It's kind of like, say if...
And so you manipulate those, you try to manipulate those around you.
You try to manipulate your way out of it. So I could just use me, for example. I'm a very real person. I can play victim and say my mom was a crack addict. And I can end up in jail and I can have pipes in my hands. And every time I get a consequence, my answer is, well, if my mom was here when I was a baby...
Right.
And it all boils down to the excuse. Does that make sense? It all boils down to excuses.
Just because you have a valid reason,
that does not make it okay.
That does not give you the excuse.
That doesn't make it a valid reason. You got it. Just because I had a valid reason to stay stuck, just because I had a valid reason to stay in my shadow, that didn't mean I had to. His intention for me was to be light. My mom and dad's job was to have me.
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, get that intention out on earth. Get that intention out on earth. What I do with that intention is my job. That's why they say when a child leaves the womb at 18, they go on their way anyway. Why? Because it's about God has to get their kid back. It's not about leaving. You know, I need their brain back. Like, tell them come back. And that's literally the intention. But the triggers is literally. People are scared to heal triggers. I feel like triggers keep people safe.
Yes, because they're comfortable in who they have been. They're comfortable in their wounded child self.
Yeah, they're comfortable. And it leaves some people have been taken so care of as a wounded child that they don't want to become a healed adult.
And that's the payoff.
Like that. Yeah.
And that's the payoff. There is always some sort of payoff for remaining how you choose to be.
Yeah.
There is always, and although to others it's a sick and twisted payoff, but there is always some kind of payoff. What are your thoughts?
Ma'am.
What are your thoughts on you know, because healing does take time. But what are your thoughts on you know, for those that say, oh, well, it's going to take time for me to change and it's going to take time, because I really despise that a lot. But while we all know it's going to take time,
they don't want to. Let me tell you, it's annoying. When you get fed up, you get fed up.
About to pass out.
It's this type of fed up that you are fed up with yourself. If anything, and it's such a fed up that sentence don't even sound right no more.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I feel like people who say, like, it's like people make excuses to stay still, but we have to unlearn that. Because our generation came from slavery and we was never taught to believe. You know, we was never taught to have authority. We was never taught to have money. So when we get something that scares us, our biggest thing is to have fear. So I couldn't be mad because it's like healing a slave and turning them into a master.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunately, the mentality of the slave is so stuck that being a master scares them. Because the master's job is to have superior over the weak. but the slave was never weak. So it's how they thought of it. It's kind of like, I'm weak now, but if I get power, I have to maintain that power and I can never be weak again. That's a lie. So people actually believe if you heal, you have to be perfect. So some people like to stay unhealed so they can stay imperfect.
And don't those unhealed people love to point out when you are walking in the light, but not perfection? Don't you find it ironic that those people love to point out, oh well, you're supposed to be like this and you're supposed to do that one that's a killer too.
What frustrates people about me is what they haven't healed. It's the same thing. What frustrates you about others, you need to heal. When people come at me and be like, "Oh, you doing the most," I'm like, "Dang, you're mad because at one point you wasn't able to do the most. So seeing me do the most is really pissing you off."
Yeah, my spirit aggravates your demons.
Yeah, or like if somebody, I remember somebody always tell you always on 10, you always happy, and I thought to myself, now being in line, you just told me you're unhappy.
Right.
So now my thing is, how can I help you be happy? I don't want to fight you. How can I help you be happy? Like, because you just literally told me in that sentence of me always being happy that you are the total opposite of what I am.
Right.
So now I learned to listen to people in triggering shadows. Nobody would get offended by anything that doesn't bother them. Whether it's a relationship, a boyfriend, girlfriend, career, whatever. If somebody give you an energy, they saw that. What they saw in you is in them. And it frustrated them because the same way they can't change themselves, they couldn't do nothing about you. Or you got to understand, living in your light, and some people who can't conquer their shadows, you piss them off because you conquered your shadows.
And
we came from the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
We came from the same neighborhood, the same upbringing. You had and we went through the same hell, and you had the power to confront your shadow and get all these blessings. And I'm still in it. Like, people hurt. They don't want to say that, but I have experienced some people who've been knowing me for years, and they looking at me like, how is it possible? And I'm like, just living your light. But it's hard to get through that shadow.
Yeah.
One of my friends told me she loved therapy. She was like, I just couldn't do it. So if people love to stay still, it's unfortunate, but it's a safe place for them. Because as long as I'm quote unquote unperfect, I don't know why people believe success and winning is perfect, but it's a lie.
Right.
But quote unquote, as long as I don't have to live up to it, I don't have to worry about failing. So people true fear of succeeding is failing.
Wow.
People true fear of healing is appearing unhealed again. People true fear of turning around their life is going back to the person they was.
Right.
And if you don't feel like you have the willpower, you try to stay stuck in the middle. But you have the willpower to conquer it. And I think that's why I teach people. It's a fear. I feared success because I was scared to fail again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, bro, it ain't no reason for me to succeed. I am perfectly fine with my little 5 failures. I ain't got to go no further. Just give me a little 9 to 5. I was just trying to become comfortable. Anything, because big dreams scared me. Healing to the point where I'm talking like this scared me because I said if I mess up at any time, I'm back to, so my fear was always being back to the person I healed.
Right.
Or going back to the failure who failed, or going back to the person who felt like she wasn't good enough. That was my biggest fear.
Yeah, because you're comfortable there. You know that space.
I know here, I'm good.
Right.
If I go up there at the top of that mountain and I fail, I can. I can't fail again.
Yeah.
I can't. A normal human being can't go through pain again. A normal human being can't go through trauma again. So if you ask them to do that willingly, it scares them.
Right.
So that's my truth about people healing sometime, or anything when it comes to the next level. The comfort and safety I have created here, due to me being hurt so many times, when I finally feel safe somewhere, I don't feel like it. But you have to understand, you're not moving. He's the safety. So I had to get out of myself and allow him to move through me. And it was such a peace. But it's like, I'm to that person who was scared of this. It's a very scary feeling because I was scared to fail. I wasn't scared to succeed. Who's scared? Who be scared to make money? Like, no, I'm scared to go broke again.
Right.
Like, and I'm scared because I'm not scared to do that again. I'm scared of that feeling.
Yes.
Everybody can't handle the feeling. So I had to tell people dealing with the feeling is hard. You don't want to deal with the feeling of hurt again. You don't want to deal with the feeling of pain again or losing or being broken because you're never broke. Broke is a mentality, but broken birth brokenness. So if you pay attention to people who's broken, many of them don't have money. But if you have people who are filled with a filled cup out here, just making sure they happy, it's just like miracles happen. It's the weirdest thing. Like they wake up like, I found $20 on the floor. Why? Because God knew you needed to eat that day.
And,
You know what I'm saying?
and the thing is it's again, it doesn't take perfection.
Absolutely.
It doesn't.
No,
There are no perfect people.
Yeah.
It does not take perfection. It does not take perfection. What it takes is a different mentality and a mentality of faith. That is it. And if you put that in every area of your girl, you know what?
That's it. Faith. Faith. That is it. That is it. And it's harder they're living than saying.
Yes, it is.
But it's easy. That's why I'm willing to go back and tell everybody that it's possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm 33. If you want to experience somebody living in their shadow 24/7, just Google me. So you can't tell me I don't know how to be confronted by my dark side. I just know that there's way more rewards in living your life.
Right.
There's way in having the faith and faith of a mustard seed. And now I understand it, going back to the serpent, just for you guys, because this is the sum up for the world. What I always tell people when I tell people to say no to the serpent. When he placed Adam and Eve in the garden, he also placed the serpent, which told you he was gonna tempt you. I knew that. All he was looking for Adam and Eve was the faith to say no. So with the human beings, when they say God gave you grace and you can repent, that's basically saying I'm going to keep placing you in the garden. I'm going to keep placing you in the garden and presenting the serpent. All I need you to do is have enough faith to say no. That's it. But if you say yes, don't worry. I got enough grace. I'm your father. You got beat up a little bit, but you ain't die. I'm going to place you right back in the garden. And I'm going to place that same serpent. That's why I say triggers is wounds, but the person don't change. So here it is. The same trigger is now in a different room with a different serpent. And the serpent is still, if you snap again, he's just going, okay, I'm not mad at you. You know, it's cool. Learn the lesson. I'm going to put you right back in the garden until you pass this test. And once you pass this test, now I can elevate you. So he is only what your biggest thing in life is saying no to the serpent. That negative thought, when the negative thought creep up, definitely when you know right from wrong, knowledge is knowing, wisdom is applying. So that's why I say God's wisdom, not God's knowledge. So knowledge, everybody know. That's your answer when you be like, why do people stay still? Because they know. I know I can heal. Do I want to? No. But the wisdom is applying the knowledge that you have, because you can't not heal.
Right.
They say that shadows results in death.
It's
have life and peace.
It's the irony. The irony is your action is either wisdom or sin.
Basically,
your action is either wisdom or sin. If you are walking in a positive light, knowing something, acting on it in a positive manner is wisdom. If you are walking in the darkness or shadow, as you say,
yes, ma'am,
knowing something and acting on it out of negativity is the sin part of it. Because
shadow and sin, they're twins. Sin and shadow.
Right, because the enemy can only control you with thoughts, ideas, and suggestions.
Right.
So the minute whatever whispers to you those negative thoughts, having the thoughts isn't the sin.
It's the action.
Having the thoughts is the temptation. Acting on those thoughts is the sin. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. No, and when people who walk in darkness always have comments about people in the light as if we don't have these same thoughts.
Right.
I have the same.
I just know how to combat them.
However, through faith, through therapy, through light, through doing the work,
through the talking to myself,
through the talking self-talk, I have found a way to to deal with these
Yep.
thoughts so that A, it doesn't become something that I have to suppress where I blow up later. B, it doesn't become an action that is then outward presented towards another human being for no reason at all. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, this is something that a lot of healed people don't know.
Yep.
They don't know what to do with the thought once it comes in their head. And that's where you have to do the work. You have to do the work because you have to know what to do with the thoughts. No one's saying you can't have them.
Right.
But what do you do with them so that it doesn't become action, and so that it, because all it's going to do if it becomes action, it's what
it's going to consume.
It becomes the breakdown of relationships. It becomes the breakdown of life.
It controls you. It controls you. If a thought lasts more than 20 seconds, it's cancer. So I tell people, it's perfect. You're going to think it. I still definitely just yesterday said you're so irresponsible, but I couldn't let that you so irresponsible last for 20 seconds. Because if that's you so irresponsible lasted for 20 seconds, at 21 seconds, I would have been irresponsible. Now now my mind has convinced me I'm completely irresponsible. Now I am moving as an irresponsible being. I'm beating myself up. Oh, that goes right. You always make irresponsible mistakes, mind you. No, once that thought hit 15.5 seconds, no, you know what you're doing. You don't make mistakes, only bad choices, and every day is a lesson to be learned. Everything is a lesson. So you shut it down immediately. Oh, you so like I still make mistakes. Nah, but I don't want no mistake. Like you all right. You're human. You're not perfect. You are a world full of imperfect people. So he didn't make you perfect. That's the secret everybody need to know. As we heal, we feel like remember this perfect being. No, you're imperfect. So you always have it. He gave you the excuse to mess up. He gave us temptation. So he did not ask us to be perfect. He asked you to have enough willpower to feel perfect. That's kind of what it's like. Don't be perfect, just feel perfect. The weirdest thing ever. But the willpower is the strength we have in him. That's how you get back aligned with him. He has that willpower because we need help. I needed help healing. I had a terrible shadow. So when I was going through it, I told God for real, I was like, bruh, you got to take over the thoughts for a good 3 years because I don't know how to think for myself.
Can't do it.
My thoughts need adult supervision. And I don't know if you talking or the shadow talking. And this is my truth. So one of y'all need to show up.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference yet. Yeah. As I was, you can tell, like I talked to him, we're like, I don't know the difference between light and shadow yet. So I need to know is this true or false? Yeah. Period. So it's a learning process, but it's be gentle, be gentle. Every day in life is a lesson to be learned. You are an external being, which means that our today is in 200 years, his day one. So every time I post on Instagram, I don't post for this generation. I post for generations after me. That's what purpose is. You don't talk to this time. I'm not here for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, everybody's not going. They talked about Jesus. Who cares? He knew you was going to get tempted. He knew they was going to talk about you like a dog. All I need is you to trust me and have faith. Because I told you, if you get controlled by your shadow, that life leads to death. And if you get controlled by your light, that life leads to life and peace. I hate to use this example, but this is my famous example, who is R. Kelly. He is the prime example of light and shadow to me.
Yes, he is. We have that conversation all the time. He battles so much between light and darkness. We have that conversation about him all the time.
We do.
Yes, ma'am. I tell people if you want to see shadow and light in real time, it's impossible that God would use a child molested to birth a gospel album. The intention of why you built is still gonna get out there. Trust me. Right. Like you got that type of father. Like, oh, you think I'm stupid? I'm still gonna get my attention out of you. But my attention out of you. But I told you get controlled by your shadow. That's not a good life. But I'm still your father. I'm gonna get while you out on earth. So you gonna reap the benefits. I'm gonna get my word out there. Don't get it twisted. But there's still consequences for you to continue to choose shadow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's still consequences for that. But I'm still gonna get my light out. Don't get it twisted. And that's how I tell people, yo, you gonna have some times. You ever had moments where you had $20,000 a night? Is that zero?
Yeah.
That's because I'm gonna get my light out of you. But shadow don't never win. But light never loses. And if you do, it wasn't aligned. I promise you. If light loses some, it wasn't meant for you.
Listen.
That's my promise to people.
Denise,
if life loses something, it wasn't meant for you. So we got to unlearn feeling like we got to work for things that is already in our laps. When he built you with the purpose, you had. That's why they say manifestation. Mm-hmm. You had everything.
Already.
Everything you wanted. And that is the truth. Why? Because your father owns the world.
Right.
It ain't no my father owned Rockefeller Records or my father owned. No, your father owns the world.
Yeah.
He's the owner. He is the CEO of Earth. Like if you want to brag about something, if anything, bro, my father owns the world. I don't work for anything on the world. I got dominion over this. My father owns the world.
Denise.
He put me out here for this. He put me out here to get people back in his world. That's why I'm here.
Denise.
He gave me the gift of rap. Why? So people get back to his world. Like
Denise,
you know how to draw wire, so I can draw feathers for people to get back to his world. He'll make a mailman famous if the mailman deliver mail for him.
Denise,
he'll make a swim guard a billionaire if the billionaire is saving lives and bringing them back to the kingdom. If I put you on earth to save lives, then hey, you get rewarded, baby. I don't need you to work for the world. I need you to work for me. Amen. So that's why I push this to people and say, if you confront your serpent and tell the serpent no, the same man who you mad at placed the serpent. How you gonna be mad at him? Then you talk about that's the devil. No, he placed it. I just need you to have faith to say no to it. But he placed the serpent, he placed the devil, he placed all these dark spirits, he placed it for us. We have the shadow. The shadow's inside of us. When he said let there be light, there was darkness. So he placed all of these things. So the same way you trust him with your intention, trust him with the darkness. Darkness can't drive out darkness, only light can. Absolutely. A shadow cannot form without light. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. Mm-hmm. So if you have a shadow, there is light. Mm-hmm. Period. Mm-hmm. If you have negative thoughts, there is positive thoughts. Mm-hmm. It's impossible because it's a science. I studied it. A shadow does not exist without light. Mm-hmm. It can't. It's impossible. So now that I thought to myself that the shadow has no power unless I have power, I took my power back. Mm. Because the further the shadow get away, or the further the sinner get away from the source, you just, it's like a lost soul. That's why I keep repeating that message, because this is what Shadow's favorite scripture is. Although I walk through the valley of shadow of death, because some people like to stay dark. Mm-hmm. Sweetheart, you didn't walk through that. God, so that's why I would take, like, you gotta get that out your brain. People taught us, although I walk through. No, you ain't walked through no darkness. God worked you through that. It said, I will feel no evil because he was always with me. So you just have to reteach these scriptures that was taught wrong sometime. Like, hey, even though you didn't walk through that valley of shadow of death, light, you didn't walk through that. The light at the end of the tunnel, that was you. There was never no darkness. We just got to change our mind. Yeah. We have to change our mind and stop. Some people live in shadow, but I can't blame us. I can't blame us.
Denise, tell everybody where to find you, how to follow you, get all your information so that everyone can get these messages.
Yes, I'm so sorry for talking so much.
No, you're fine. No.
You're fine.
Listen, I would keep going. I could literally listen to you talk all day long. Yeah. And I'm going to go home and play this show back tonight. Excuse me, tonight, and listen to it.
I pray I wasn't hurt. I pray he was hurt, and he just used me as the vessel.
I listen. I'll be listening to it tomorrow at work too. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. You can catch me everywhere. You catch me everywhere. I'm about to talk on July 17th. But on Instagram, you can catch me. I'm the Prosperous Hustler, aka Purpose Nair. But if you put in Purpose Nair, Denise Carson, you'll find me on all platforms. You'll find me on Facebook. You'll find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I can't keep up with these medias. Yeah. I'm preparing a show, so I must come back. Hopefully I can come back closer to September, because I'm going to interview my shadow in real time and make it an event. Yes, ma'am. So it's called the Transformational Experience. The Transformational Experience, Denise Carson confronts her shadow in real time, and I'm probably the only person who has did a light versus shadow interview. So, and I'm the one who's doing it. So and it shows people the visual of really confronting your shadow. So in September, hopefully closer to the date, let's stay in touch, you guys. It's going to be virtual and in live, but I do want you to come because the same thing that I'm talking about now is getting prepared more for September. Okay. But the only difference is the visual is way more real. It's a real live interview between my shadow.
Listen, I will be talking behind the scenes because I've already got some things in my mind that I want done before September. Actually, I got a few things. I have 3 things on the top of my head right now that I want done.
Oh, I got you.
Before
get
September.
The message out there. My job is to get the message out there.
Yes.
So put it out. Let's put it out there.
Yes, we are definitely going to talk after the show tonight. Because I'm going to send you some things as soon as I leave the studio. But this was. Do you want to go or you want me to go? You want me to go? Okay, I'll go. Go ahead. As we close out the show, I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show and everything that we were talking about in the beginning of the show, just from personal experiences, because we're both very transparent about our lives without sharing all the details of our business. But just we were saying the feeling and the energy in the space that we both are in, because we're best friends. We grew up together. The space and the energy that we're both in, it just feels off. And we're not sure where that's coming from. Both of us are extremely spiritual. Both of us are believers, and we talk on a daily basis. And we were both saying it's just not a good feeling. And then you started to talk, and every single thing you said touched on everything single thing that she said and every single thing that I said. Everything. And I didn't know whether to still sit here, whether to cry, because there were periods where I was like, I'm gonna shed a tear, and I can't do that.
Right.
I didn't know if I wanted to cry, run, scream. The only thing I could do was literally just sit here in silence and listen.
Me too.
And when I rewatch the show again tonight, and when I rewatch it again tomorrow while I'm working, I'm going to be taking notes, because I when I hear a good word, when I hear a good message, I like to take notes in detail.
Yeah, that's how you get it in
because
your soul.
that is how you get it in your soul and in your spirit.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's not just something you heard.
Right.
But you get it down within you so that it can begin to change and transform you. You know what I mean? And you begin to walk and live it. So I'm definitely going to do that. But he is using you.
I think for me, what you said, I was that kid that grew up without both my biological parents. And you came on. It's a trigger for me. It's a sensitive subject for me. That is the only thing in life, and I'm very transparent, Denise, but that's the only thing in life that will buckle me to my knees. Like, that is the only thing. Like, I'm strong in every area, right? But that is the only thing that is sensitive and a trigger for me. Like, I can see it on TV. I can see it in another kid. I can see, and it's yes. And I will tell you that is so whatever for me. So everything you said tonight, it was like, I just was saying, why am I revisiting my childhood? Why am I going through the thoughts that I'm going through right now? What is going on? If you watch the beginning of the show, you will see that we said everything. I'm
going to watch it.
I
was getting dressed, y'all.
Everything.
I'm sorry. I was getting dressed.
You got to watch it because it was everything. You came in not knowing, which I know is from God if you didn't watch it. Not knowing what we were going through, but that is what we were. I mean, everything you said, and it just, your words were dynamic and on time. Do you understand? I believe in divine time, but it was on time. It was on time.
Yes, ma'am.
The world totally needs you.
You guys, I have been following. I did follow you guys and look you up. I do want to just drop a word of encouragement before we get off to let you know he did not use the mustard seed for any reason. Which means the biggest things make the biggest, the smallest thing make the biggest explosions.
Amen.
And I don't think people understand the power of small beginnings because that's where you prepare the most. And as I started to study you guys, when you asked me, I saw the two hosts it's black screen for me right now, but the two hosts, and I didn't know you was best friends, but I knew you was aligned. And I thought to myself, I was like, wow, something major is going to happen to them right after you get done with them. So I think you guys confirmed that. Because that's what I heard when I looked at your flyer. I knew that this was going somewhere, but the host, I was like, once you get done with the host, it's over with. So you probably whatever confirmation you guys receive today, go for it. And don't jump fearlessly, because you're not alone.
Amen.
Jump fearlessly.
That.
Amen.
And then turn that inner child into your child. My inner child is my little girl. So she's my baby. She's literally my child. So if she pop up and she's hurt, I gotta protect her. It's my job.
Amen.
Just because she didn't know how to talk, and she didn't, so she went through a lot. So it is my job to treat my inner child like it's my baby.
Amen.
But be gentle. I feel like this is not the last time we'll talk, but it's not the last time I saw your show. Because I already saw it. I saw it when I first opened the flyer. So be patient. You're the side of a mustard seed on purpose right now, because he's preparing the table.
Amen.
We want to prepare the table for the enemies. No, he's saying, hey, you heal and prepare the message. I'll prepare the table. When I prepare the table, all your enemies is going to sit there. And when I prepare your next level, all your enemies your footstool. So everything you thinking about holding you back, I already got that. I need you to have faith in me, because the places I got for you, you can't take that shadow with you. I need you to just know who I am. So be patient as you get closer to him, and he shows his face 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning, and just know that you're closer than you think. It's the confirmation that I tell people to be thankful for. So be thankful for the confirmation. I didn't hear the beginning of the show, but I can tell that he's a God of confirmation. And definitely I know that I don't speak half the time. So whatever he confirmed, I'm ready to talk to you guys next month. Is going to totally be different. I'm about it. I'm talking about instant miracles.
Denise,
Instant.
Instant.
You got the million over a tree. You got the million over a tree. And that your inner child is your baby. If he was going to kill you, he would have done it by now. I promise you. So if I ain't kill you, I got some more out of you. And I'm going to squeeze it like an orange.
Yeah, Denise, I'm done with you.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm done with you.
I gotta. I don't think.
Man. Thank you so much for the interview, my God. Thank you for thinking of me. I'm just talking.
Denise, thank you. Thank God for you, and thank Him for using you. I don't think I have ever cried on a show before.
Me neither.
But thank you.
Me neither.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can't wait to hug you, ladies.
Yes.
Until then, sending love and light.
Yes, and the same for you.
Thank you.
I'm kind of rendered speechless right now, which is a first. But I am going to be contacting you, like I said, between tonight and tomorrow.
Copy.
Because I just immediately had some things going through my head, and so I just wanted to make sure I'm vetting them out somewhat before presenting them to you. So we will definitely be in touch in the next 24 hours. Thank God for you. We are definitely going to have you back on the show very soon. And
I'm in Washington, so y'all said that I was in New York. Hopefully on the off day, I'll take a plane out there and
right, and come, please come and visit us. Like I said, I got some things, so we're going to talk about it.
I don't know these states up here. I'm like, look at me. Is it a train? I don't know.
Listen, thank God for you. We're sending you love and light and peace and joy.
Keep showing your smile.
Yeah,
your smile is the slay. Your smile is your sword. Your smile is your sword. So kill him.
She just want to break us.
Yeah, she trying to break us down. Listen, we about to hang up with you.
Just do like this.
Look, you trying to break us down. Listen,
your smile is your sword. I love you.
All right, and we love you.
Thank you.
And we love you.
I love you.
All right.
You guys, I'll listen to you soon. Okay.
All
right.
All righty.
All right.
Listen. So. Yeah, thank you. Wait.
Oh.
I know. Yeah, we got to end the show. Listen,
my bad.
Thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight. We love you guys for watching. We love you guys for listening. And God willing, we will be here next week, same time, same place, different topic. And see you soon.
I have nothing to say. Bye, guys.